Von Lichtenstein asks or says, let me actually read the because I have a summary here. Oh yeah, he just says game review scores are outmoded and should be ditched. That's a tough one, but I'm gonna Bill. What do you think?
I am going to say that it is. I'm going to say that that's a hot take. I think most people like review scores. I completely agree with them. I despise review scores. When people look at a review for a game, all they do is they look at the score and they ignore everything else that is there. So if you give a numbered score, everything boils down to that number. Oh, it's a 7 out of 10. Must be garbage. Oh, it's an 8 out of 10. Must be better than a 7 out of 10. Never mind that the people who are reviewing the game are two different people. So like when you ever see when people are like IGN gave this game an 8 but they gave this game a 7 and I'm like,
I hate it.
guys, it's two different authors. Like it's different people. You can't just always like they think of IGN as a person. It's a outlet where there's a bunch of people. It's like imagine if you guys as said, "Hey, what did the Nerd Nest podcast rate Breath of the Wild?" Well, Russ hates Breath of the Wild because he hates breakable weapons. I love Breath of the Wild. It's my favorite game of all time. Like that doesn't work. So numbered scores are stupid, and I wish they would all go away.
So I am
Russ?
like, I like numbered scores, man. I think they're
Uh,
good, but I got a couple caveats. Number one is that I think that people who read those scores sometimes take them too seriously. And I think it requires your own sense of taste, like I use that as just kind of a starting spot and whether or not I think it may be something that will be a good fit for me. If I just see and you see this all the time with like the gaming journals where they go back and forth. Are we going to score? Are we not going to score? And it's like it takes a measure of patience and understanding to read a review that doesn't have a score and really understand whether or not it's going to be a good fit for you. But when I see a 10 out of 10, I'm like, okay, they're saying it's universally good, which means that even if it doesn't seem like it's a game I'm going to like, if I put enough time into it and really understand it in the way the reviewer did, then it may be a masterpiece. And so I like to see those scores in that way. Other times it just doesn't sway me. If it's a 7 out of 10, but it's something I'm interested in, I think I'm going to jive with it. I'm going to get that. And so it really depends on the person reading that and how they interpret it. I never look at those numbers and just be like, okay, that's what it actually is. And I think there are people who do that, and that's probably that's where those arguments come from. My only other caveat would be that I prefer out of 100 as opposed to out of 10, right? 76 out of 100 or 7.6 out of 10. Like that's the kind of nuance that I like to see. A lot of that comes from like the music journal that I used to read a lot online called Pitchfork Media from back in the day. And they did those decimal systems. And so I got really honed in on what makes a 7.2 versus a 7.4. And so I do like seeing that granularity. But yeah, I like those numbers. I think it's fine. I wouldn't want them to go away.
So there's one thing that I want to include that I didn't think of when I was talking before, and that is Metacritic. Like
Mm.
whether or not like bonuses can be for a company that is developing a game. Those can be dependent on your Metacritic score. So if your
Yeah.
Metacritic, if you don't get above an 80 or something, then suddenly the developers that worked on the game, they're not getting paid as much, which that's kind of crazy to me. Where like because you know I have seen quite often when games come out, there are some outlets that will have a tendency to score very different than everybody else is scoring. And it's because what happens, and I'm not going to say anybody in particular, but what happens is people see that, and I've fallen into this trap. People see that score and it's like, these are all nines. This guy gave it a 5. I wonder why he gave it a 5. So then I click on that 5 and it worked. You know what I mean? Or everybody's giving this game a terrible score and he gives it an 8 or something. And I click on that and suddenly I'm given that. And that's part of the reason, a small part of the reason why I don't like numbered scores. But, here's something else, Russ. You mentioned if if something has like a 10 out of 10 or whatever, and you think it's going to be really good, or you say, okay, no matter what, I can probably enjoy this game. But you famously aren't really a big fan of Breath of the Wild, and that has a ridiculously high score.
Yeah, no, I actually do love Breath of the Wild. I just don't like the breakable weapons, so I like emulating Breath of the Wild so I can use cheats. And that
Oh,
game is
fair
perfect.
enough.
That's a 10 out of 10 for me. But yeah, that is one of those things. But I would never have gone through the lengths that I did to figure out emulation back in 2020 and get it working if it hadn't been for those 10 out of 10 scores. I had skipped over so many Zelda games getting up to that. So I think that's probably a good indication right there.
That's fair enough then. All right. I've misrepresented his feelings on Zelda, and so everybody can yell at me.
So I have so many thoughts on this. I'm going to try to keep it short though. On the 10 out of 10, I love that example, Russ. I do think that, how people see a 10 out of 10 is very different across the board. And I think, how probably the three of us may see it is very different from how a lot of people see it. Because when I see a 10 out of 10, I'm not thinking about what I think of that game. Like I may have had preconceived notions of, oh, I think this game is probably like a 7 for me. And so when I see a 10 out of 10, I'm not thinking, oh, that person must be wrong. You know what I mean? I'm not thinking that. Even if I played the game and it is a 7 out of 10 for me, I'm not thinking that person must be wrong. I'm thinking, what did they see in that game? And now I'm curious, right? And so I like having that notion of surprise, like delight, right? Is I didn't expect this game, whatever that game is, to get a 10 out of 10. And so I'm excited almost that it did, just so that I can find out why people are gushing about it, even if it's not for me. I love that process. Also, to me, I think historically I tend to agree with this take that game review scores may be outmoded, but in this moment right now I disagree with the take. And my thought is that the problem isn't the score, right? So like even if you forced every single outlet to remove scores today, someone would come up with a system that uses Gen AI to read these reviews and assign a score to them and then aggregate that score, right? Like that would happen overnight probably. And so I think the problem is exactly what we're talking about, is just like people taking the wrong things away from these scores. Also, one last thing here is the way we're aggregating, right? Because Metacritic aggregates one way, OpenCritic, Rotten Tomatoes, and Steam aggregate in a completely different way, which is they just say, how many people recommend this, versus Metacritic, which is like taking all the nuance and trying to smash it. That nuance that Russ was talking about from Pitchfork of like a 7.2 and a 7.4, and different outlets that may rate their different sevens one way, and then another outlet that does a 3 out of 5 instead of a 7.6. You know what I mean? These are all of that nuance is getting smashed into an aggregate that just doesn't make sense. Whereas if it was just like thumbs up, thumbs down, what did that reviewer say? So I would encourage a lot of people to look at Steam reviews and to look at OpenCritic, because they both offer that aggregate.
And more importantly, find a reviewer who likes the kind of games that you like and follow what they say and read the actual article or watch the actual video. Don't just depend on that number. And stop arguing over whether or not an 8.2 is better than an 8.3, because that's a waste of everyone's time. But those were our hot takes for today. And thank you guys for sending those in. Again, if you didn't get to see that post, then make sure that you head over to NerdNest, youtube.com/NerdNest, and subscribe right over there. We're getting really close to 100,000. Might actually happen
I
this
saw
week.
that. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah,
That'd be
just
awesome.
hey, if you guys have 17 friends, uh, then we could be there already. All right. So anyway, let's move on to our next topic, but let us know what you guys think about all of that stuff down below. This was just a small part of my podcast, the Nerd Nest podcast. And if you enjoyed it, then do me a favor and click on that like button down below. And if you really enjoyed it, then I think you should check out the link in the description down below the like button. It's going to take you to the full podcast, so you can check out the entire conversation and a whole lot more. If that sounds good, I hope to see you over there. Stay rad, and thanks for watching.